Hello friends, welcome to another video. This video is again on paginated reports, but there will be some DAX functionality and some of the DAX functions we're going to use in this. The problem statement and the inspiration of this particular video came from one of my friend on LinkedIn. Her name is Tripana. I think I am pronouncing it right. I did a video on how you can use wildcard characters in paginated report parameters. And she asked me if there is a way to use comma separated values in the parameter and then use that to filter our records. So this video is going to explain all that, how we can achieve it. But before I go to paginated report, I will go through step by step what DAX functions we're going to use in this particular video to solve the problem or get to the result what we're looking for. Let's get to Power BI desktop and start looking into it and go through step by step. So here in paginated report, what we want to do here is we have a customer, so just a list of customer. The ask here is if user enter a partial value in paginated report parameters, let's say Bob, comma, Ash, comma, Chris, comma, some other values. So we want to take all that comma separated values, take all the values which is separated by comma, and then search, match those values with our customers and only list those customers or the sales of those customers. But we don't have in Power BI desktop a way to input the value. So I'm going to store the value in a string just to walk through what DAX functions we will use and how we will use it. And let's start writing. I'm going to write a table here, just a DAX table. And assuming in the DAX table here we are creating is the value input by the user in the paginated report parameters. So let's start creating this table. So the first thing what we need to do is let me call this customer name to search. So that's the name of the table. So let's store a value in a variable, and let's say call it customer names. So assuming the user is inputting this value in paginated report parameter. Actually, at the end of this video, I will walk through the paginated report part as well, but I'm showing it here that how the DAX functions will work. So that's why we are doing it in Power BI desktop. Let's say the user entered the value Zach, Navi, Kevin, Chris. So assuming this is the value user entered in the parameter. Now our goal is to take each value separate by comma and then search this in our customers list, customer table, and then show only those customers which are matching with each value separate by comma. So first part of this, what we need to do is we need to create this comma separated values into a table. Because we cannot search it like this, so we need to convert it into a table. So to do so, here we will use the path functions. Again, there are tons of videos on path functions, how to use those, but I'm going to walk through through this particular creating a table. So taking this comma separated value and convert into a table using path functions. So first what we need to do is we need to replace make it the path function use the pipe symbol or character to separate the values, not the comma. So what we need to do is first we will substitute first we will substitute our comma with the pipe symbol. Substitute customer names old text comma with the new text is this pipe character. So what this will give is now replacing Jack pipe, Navi pipe, and all this stuff. So comma now is being replaced by pipe. So now once we have this, we want to see the length, how many values are there. So what we can do here is customer names, actually we call it number of customers. So there is a function path length, and then we will give customer names to path. So this is now will give us, basically in this particular case, it will give the value 4. But I'm not gonna show that value for now, but create a table. Basically our goal is to create a table. Now to create a table, now we know how many customers are there. So there are 4 customers. So we want to start from 1 to 4. And to do so, we have a function called generate series. We will use that. So let's create another variable called customer table. So we will use a function generates series. What the generate series tells, like the start value and the end value. We know start value is going to be 1, and the end value is of course number of customers, because now we know how many customers are there, and incremental value is 1. If we don't give a value, then by default it is 1. So now we know, okay, there's 1 to 4, there's a 4 customers in our list. So if I just return this variable customer table, what I will get, let's it generate this customer name to search table. So we get 1 2 3 4. So there is a 4 customers. So let's say if I change this to remove Chris from here, this will be 1 2 3. So the generate series is giving us number of customers we wanted to search. So now this is 1 2 3. So that's the first thing. So now we know the customers. Now we need to get the customer name. To get that, we can add a column on top of our this generate series table. So we can add a column on our table, and let's call this new table column name customer to search. And then we will use another function, which is a path function. We will say path item. So that allows us to get the item from a path. So our path is of course customer names to path. That's the variable where we store our customer names. Position, now the position is which position we want. It's 1 2 3 4. And the generate series, this particular inner function, this is returning a column called value and 1 2 3. So we want the value. So we want that value and then text, because the value we want is a text value. So this should do the job. So now if I press enter, so what we're going to get here is, so here you go. So now I have 1 2 3, that's the value, the position. This is not required, but I'm just bringing it in the table here. And 1 2 3, and then we have a customer. So we have a table. So basically we converted our comma separated value into a table. That was our first task to achieve. So let's say if I CHR, it will be 4 rows with the CHR as the last value. So that's what, now we converted our comma separate value, assuming this is the value entered by user in paginated report parameter. The first part we did is we converted this value into a table. So this is the first thing. Now we have this value or this table. What we want to do is we want to iterate over each row in this table and then search this value, the customer, to search in our customer table in the customer name to see any customer name which contains the value Jack or contain the value NAVI or Kevin or CHR. Depending on what business logic you want exact match. That's there's a different solution. You want it contains like, okay, if the any customer contains this value, then we will use the contains string functions. But I'm going to show the contains string function, assuming the user in the paginated report parameter is entering the partial value, and that's what we want to see, the contain search. So let's create another table because I want to demo that how we're going to make that happen. How we're going to search the each customer here in our customer name table and return the a customer table at the end of the day. That's what our goal is. So let's write another and go to modeling tab and create another table, or customer list based on customer to search. So we now have a table called customer name to search, which has a column. Again, just let's this will give an error. I'm just going to go back here and to show customer name to search. So we have the four customer which we need to search in our customer name. So let's go back to, so we are creating another table, customer list based on customer to search. First we want which customer we want to search. So we can have a customer to search. So we can simply get the values from the new table which we created in our previous DAX table. So that is customer to search. So what this will give us, all the customer to search. Let's return this just to see what the output of this will be. This will be the output of the four customers which are separated by comma. So it should give us that particular table here, because we are not doing anything. So now we want to, so we have this list. The next step, what we want to do here is iterate over this one particular customer and then find it in our dim customer table. So to do so, we are going to take advantage of generate function. Generate function is a very little use of these functions, but they are very, very powerful. I actually did a video on all the generate functions, and I will post the link of that video in my description of this video. So let's click search these customers. So what we're going to do is call it customers list or found or whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to use the function generate. So what the generate function does, you guys can go and search on the Microsoft documentation, but here what it has two inputs, a table and table 1 and table 2. The second table expression, as this help says, is the second table expression will be evaluated for each row in the first table. So that's what we want. We want to evaluate each row in our first table. Then our first table is customer to search. So that we know it returned the four values. So we need to evaluate each row. So the second parameter is the table 2. So what we want is a filter our dim customer which contains string within text, which is dim customer name, customer, I guess, yeah, and search our customer to search. Let me actually explain what's happening here. So customer to search is a table which contains four values, four rows, Jack, Navi, Kevin, and CHR, and the name of the column is also customer to search. So what we're doing here is we are iterating over, let's change the name to simplify it. Let's call it search customers so that not confused with the column name and the table name. So search customers now contains a list of all the customers we want to search, and the column name is customer to search. So what we're going to do is, as we know the generate function, go evaluate each row of table 1. This is a table 1, so it is going to evaluate each row. And what we're doing is it's going to evaluate over the second table, which is table 2 is this. So what we're doing is second table. So we're going into dim customer and telling it to return the customers which contain the value customer to search, this column, and that is the column which we have in this table. So now end of the day, if I return this table, customer list, what we expected to see here is a customer to search column and all the customer which contains the word see, in this case CHR, any customer which contains the word CHR. If I go further, anything with the Kevin, so if I search the Kevin here and filter on that, so any customer now contains the customer name, contains the word Kevin, it's giving me the list of that. Similarly, if I go Jack, and it will give us the name, customer name is Jack. Now, one thing you want to be very, very careful here. If I just return the search customer, so we have in our comma separated value, our original table which we want to search, we had I think four values or five values, four values, sorry. So we have four values: Jack, Navi, Kevin, and CHR. But there is no customer matching with the name called Navi. So we are not getting any row returned for that. So in this final output, in the customer list, we are not getting any value. So what we are getting here is it's only three values: CHR, Kevin, and Jack, and that is the generate function. But there is also another function similar to generate called the generate all. It has the same functionality, but it return the value of table 1 even the table 2 does not have any customer found, or in this particular customer found. So in this, but if I use the generate all, you guys will see here in the customer to search, we will also have Navi in here. As you can see, it showed up. And if I go OK, and we have no record, no customer found which contains the value Navi. So depending on what your use case is, you can use generate and generate all. But in our case, in this particular case, we are only need to use a generate because that's what is required to make happen, because we want only those customer which we found the comma separate values. So now this is the core part of these things. Once we know the list of the customers, then we can always filter our data set. So to do that, what I will do is I put this all thing in one measure and put it together. So one more thing what we want to do here is, because this particular thing, we don't want customer key, geography key, or filter customer and all other columns. You can actually return what you're looking for. So you can say select customer, sorry, not customer, select columns. From this particular table, I'm only interested in one column, which is customer. So we can call it the name of the column, and the column we are interested in, that's customer. So now what you will see here is I will have only one column which is customer, and that's what I want. I don't want any other column because that's what I need to filter my measure or what I needed in my report. So once I have this particular list, I can or table, I can work from here. Again, in Power, I'm doing this step by step. Is first to take created a dummy string with the comma separated, converted that into the table, then evaluated each row of the table to find what customer matches with that each row, and then created a full table. Now when I know this table, I have the, so basically my comma separated value or the parameter value is be converted into the list of the customers from my customer table. Once I have the list of customers, I can apply this into any of my measure and filter the records. To do so, now let's put this all together in one big measure and see how would that look like. So what we can do here is, I actually already did that. I will show you that measure. So I called it customer to search. Again, here I have a just for demo purpose. So I have a customer to search, same thing, substituted. So this is the final, this is I'm adding as a measure. So substituted with the pipe and then the path length and all that stuff. So I got the customer name and then I generated the table. So this is the final measure. So what it is doing is it only giving me calculate count of rows in dim customer, and then I'm filtering it on the customer list, which is generated based on the comma separated value. So if I put my customer name, let me collapse this. So this is my name of the customers. So if I put this measure with this, so it will only list me those customers which matches. This is 139 customers. And if I go again, so assuming this is the comma separated value entered by the user, let's say. Okay, so we have 139 customers based on the parameter values or the comma separated value we entered. Let's try to change it and see if we get more customers. So if I go here and I add another, let's say ASH. So any other customer matching with the word ASH should be counted towards this. So we expect the number to change. Let's collapse this. Oh, here you go, and 169 customers now. So if user is entering this as the parameter values, then what we are doing is we are converting into a table and then looking for that, evaluating the each row, each value basically, and then finding the customer which matches with the comma separate value. So okay, so this is done here in Power BI desktop to showcase how what the process to make this happen. So the comma separate value converted into a table of the customers, and then evaluated each row using generate or generate all function, and search for the customer name matching or contains the value for the each row. So how does this all pans out in when we go to the paginated report? Let me quickly show you guys. I already created the paginated report, but I will just quickly walk through the steps to make this happen. But the core of the functionality is already been explained, what I showed you how to do this. So let's look into the paginated report. So here in the paginated report, I created a parameter called parameter customer, and in the parameter properties, I just this is name of the parameter, and then just the prompt, search customer, enter partial customer name separated by comma to search multiple customers, and allow blank value. So that's pretty much it. And so the user can free form type anything what they want and have the comma separated value. And then what I did in the data set in the DAX query, again, this is the sales query. It is connected to the Power BI data set, which is already published in my Power BI service account. Again, the same thing. What we're doing here is customer to search. Previously, we manually in Power BI desktop, we hard coded the string, but here it is taking that value from the parameter. So we are using customer to search is parameter customer, and then we go through the process of creating a path value of this, replaced comma with the pipe, and then we found the length, we generated the table, and from there onward we created a variable called filter customers. What I'm doing in that is again generate or generate all, it should be generate basically. So search our customer list, go through each row of the comma separate value, and then look for the customer name matches with that value. So this filter customer is now created a list of customers what we are interested in based on the value entered by the users. Once that is done, the final evaluation command or the DAX query, summarize column, dim customer, because that's what I wanted to sales by customer, and then filtering it by the filter customer, because that is now contains the customers what we are interested in, and then the dollar sales is just a sum sales measure. Once this is done, and if we execute the report here, so let's add the customer here, CHR again, Kevin, maybe Ash, and then we view the report. We expected to see a list of sales of customers now, which contains these three customers. A name contains these values what we entered in a parameter value. Let's let it execute. So here you go. So it found 488 customers, which matches with this CHR Kevin Ash. Let's go with the some other name, Catherine, Jack, Ash, Chris, Nat, I don't know, Joey, and view report. So see whatever that comma separated, again we are entering the value. So here you go, 915 customers matches with the comma separate value what we entered. This is an interesting thing. Again, this video was inspired by the question posted by Tripana, and I already did another video on the wildcard search. I will post the link of that video in my YouTube description as well. And this video is kind of an extension of that. These two functionality, wildcard search and comma separated value, can be very, very useful. Let me know what you guys think about this video. I hope you guys learned few DAX functionality of some of the DAX functions, how that can be used. Um, Let me know if I was able to explain it clearly. Again, your feedback is very valuable. Do subscribe my channel. Until next video, have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. Thank you.